This is Pod Populi, podcast for the people.
Hey there, and welcome to the Cinnamon Effect podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Hand, and I'm thrilled to have you with me on this vibrant journey of discovery and growth. This podcast is your go-to space for embracing intention, where you'll find clarity on your unique path, deepen those meaningful connections, and unleash your creativity like never before. We'll explore how to build unshakable confidence and celebrate the beauty of gratitude, all while savoring the calm that consistency brings to our lives. Thank you for being with me. Let's sprinkle a little cinnamon into your day and make life sweeter, healthier, and more fulfilling. Welcome back to the Cinnamon Effect. I'm Kimberly Hand, and today I am here with two lovely ladies on the podcast. I'm so excited. Jen Basing and Chris Crenshaw. Both have been in the beauty and makeup industry for 30 plus years, right? A lot of experience in this whole mix, beauty mix. And I just find it really interesting. We're going to talk about so many different things, but really you're in the confidence building business. And I'm just so curious to hear your tips for women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond makeup wise, but also how that affects confidence. And when someone sits down in your chair, what is that like? And what is that relationship like? And what have you learned over these years? And I want to say how I know the both of you, because I feel like with Jen, it's really like a very like full circle moment, because we got reconnected through Chris, and Chris has done my makeup within the last couple years, maybe 5 years. I got connected with you and you've done makeup for me for a couple photo shoots and different things. And then they work together currently, and I got reconnected with Jen and I said, oh my gosh, I know you. Where do I know you from? You guys have heard me on the podcast. Like, I feel like this is like a theme in my life where everything comes back around, right? And so Jen and I realized that Jen was a trainer for MAC makeup when I was a Miami Dolphins cheerleader, and you did, we were sponsored by MAC. And so when we joined the squad, we got a, like, I don't know, what would you call it? Like a makeup tutorial in the MAC office in Miami. And you were there.
Yes.
And I was telling you, kind of like backtracking on the story and being like, I really did not wear makeup at that time. I was 28 years old. I was like one of those like mascara and lip gloss girls. And they said, you're going to come down to MAC headquarters in Miami and you're going to learn how to do the makeup that we want you to do. Right. And I was like, oh my God, like literally, I think I was taking pages of notes. I was trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this on, the daily to look camera ready? And I was like really stressed out.
Gosh, how many years ago was that?
Well, so I'm 45 now. I was 28 then. So that was 17 years ago.
Yeah,
which
long
is
time ago.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because I think about, it feels like ages ago, but then it feels like yesterday when I think about it, because of the journey of makeup. And that kind of makeup back then is so different than what I'm even into now. And coming together with like Chris and doing makeup at Jones Road, and just really kind of embodying the makeup as more of an accessory to your own personal beauty and like feeling good in your own skin. And how do you do that? Like, how do you create that beautiful makeup? And I felt like, even though it was like amazing to like be in those situations, like teaching and training the makeup has evolved so much. And I think it evolves even just within our ages as we grow and get older. It's like, how do we grow with the makeup? How do we grow with beauty? How do we start to embody something that allows you to feel like your true self without feeling like you have to pile on tons of makeup, and, just really giving you the sense of like feeling beautiful in your own skin. And I think back to the type of makeup and the style I was doing then to what I do now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so different. And it really is about less is more, but it's also about finding the confidence to feel beautiful with the way you look as you grow and get older and as you age as a woman. And there's so many pressures that are being put on women today, with all the fillers and all the things. It's like, how do I fit into society and look beautiful without feeling the pressure to have to do all these external extra things to, fit into what people are looking at as, acceptable these days.
Yeah. The makeup trend was definitely pile it on. I feel
like super heavy foundation and powder. And I mean, it was obviously the trend back then too, but
you're also in a field people need to see you from a distance.
And that's true too. And literally you're sweating so much. I mean, this Florida heat, like I remember someone saying to me, actually I was on the Jumbotron and my husband was like, you looked so hot. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. He goes, no, I mean, you look so hot, like you were going to pass out and die. And I was like, oh yeah, that was totally me. Oh my God.
I was sweaty.
I was definitely going to pass out and die. But what was that primer? I said this to you before, that primer that Mac had. And that was like the holy grail. Like, you've got to put that primer on. And, makes like,
I don't remember that.
Gosh,
it was like a silicone based primer that they used to make. My gosh, ages ago. But yes, it was the thing that was like, it was the holy grail of the makeup. And I mean, there's still like primers and stuff today, but I remember that particular one was like, like the glue.
But the glue, absolutely, that held the face together, But what I love about Chris is that when I came to see Chris is your very natural, minimalistic approach to makeup, and so that, like, I was like, oh, like, she's not trying to, spackle all this makeup onto my face, even though I am doing a photo shoot. Like, you're really working with my features and the less is more approach. So I love that you ladies have that kind of outlook, because I think, I don't know, I guess it was like that then, but I think with social media now, and you're seeing all these videos on TikTok and it's like highlighter and you're painting your face with like all these stripes and you're blending it in. And I'm like, that looks insanely confusing. Like, I have no idea what to do with that. Like, why are we putting all this stuff and, striping and, it's very complicated.
Yeah. Well, makeup has evolved so much, as you're saying. I had a grandmother that was like, you don't leave the house without lipstick. Mm-hmm. And then a mother who was super natural. I mean, she would jazz herself up, for special events and stuff like that. But she went for the more natural look. And then, come to the 80s, which is where I felt like I was in my heyday, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
And, it was just a different look. And as I've gotten older, as anybody gets older, you just have to realize, like, okay, that was your prime potentially. Or maybe your prime is in your 40s or what have you, but you have to evolve and not stick in that decade.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you thought that that's what made you look best. And maybe that is what made you look best then, but not now. And it's time to let go of that and move on to something, better for you in this moment.
Yeah. I love what you said, using the makeup as an accessory, but not like completely transforming your face into something that it's really not, When you see some of those videos, I'm reflecting on social media a lot, because I think it's such it's just so crazy what people can do with makeup. You're like, oh my gosh, that person looks like a completely different person, right? And that's okay, I guess, in some respects, but like, I just think I just did a podcast, and one of my like words of wisdom was, embrace your face, embrace who you are. Like, don't try to cover it up and don't try and hide it. And so I think that's kind of the why I wanted to have you guys on. And I want you to give your ideas, tips, tricks, insights into how we can use makeup as an accessory, not trying to completely change our appearance, and how we do that at different stages of our life, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. So yeah.
Every woman has a feature, I would think, on their face that they love. Mm-hmm. Something that stands out more, that's maybe more beautiful than another feature. And I tell women all the time, like, stop worrying about the sunspots. Stop worrying about that wrinkle. Stop focusing on that thing that you don't like, because the only reason I notice it is because you pointed it out. Mm-hmm. Just enhance the thing about your face that you love. Detract from the stuff that you don't like. I mean, we all have flaws, and you just have to roll with it, no matter what age you are, whatever decade it is. And I think maybe we're phasing out of younger women being so obsessed with being perfect, because now I think they're accepting more of, a bigger body, not being so skinny, or a different haircut, or, not having to conform to a certain look. And I'm hoping for the best for that younger generation.
Yeah.
But it's not just women our age or in their 30s. We're in our 50s kind of.
Yes, of course.
You shout it out.
Yes.
Well, I was making sure it was okay with her.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Well,
I don't care. I'm 53 and I don't
but
mind.
I mean, it's funny because I feel like as we've aged and as we've embraced this, feeling good in your own skin, I feel like I look better now than I did when I was younger. It's just, I come to work and when I work with Chris, I'm always like, what's on your face? Like, what do you have on right now? And it's always so minimal, but she always looks like she's like the golden goddess. Like she's always bronzed and ready to go. And
Yes.
I feel like, even when I look at, a beautiful woman like Chris, like she is like the epitome of giving that like natural beauty on the regular. And sometimes she'll just come in with like an eyeliner on and a little gloss. And I'm like, what's that? What do you have on? Oh, like she just, it's very effortless. And I think that that can be very powerful when you're talking about makeup, putting so many layers, like you said. And there is like a skill set that goes along with like social media and the influencer makeup. And there's like an incredible art form that is being like shared and unfolded. But it is true. It's like, who has time to spend an hour doing makeup? Like most women, I feel like when we are, working with customers, even, at our day job.
Yeah.
that they have like 10, 15 minutes or they come in and they're like, I've never worn makeup before, but I don't know what to do. Like, show me, like, teach me, like, tell me how to, feel good in my own skin. So I think that, if it were one piece of advice that I could say is that, our skin is the one thing that I find we should invest in the most. Because we only get one. This is it. Yeah. And I think, rather than, spending so much on external things, like start spending more time on embodying that within, internally, but also outwardly, like, how you care for yourself. And I think that beauty is not just about what you put on your skin, but it's also about how you feed the body, like internally, like spiritually, soulfully, because sometimes that is also energetically something that kind of turns from the inside out and that radiates like natural beauty, happiness, joy, like those things too. So I think like as we get older, you should start young, but as we get older, it's really about, how do I care for my skin? How do I hydrate? How do I, put a little bit of foundation on or keep it simple, but also feel good in the way that my skin is looking as I get older.
And I completely agree. And I think you both embody this like inner peace, inner light that shines through. And people, I think maybe some people think that sounds crazy, but you guys have been in the industry in a long time. And I think you see that probably the most beautiful women that come through the door are maybe not the typical most beautiful person, right? They're more that inner, that inner contentment. And I do think that shines through. And I feel like we've gotten away from that. And it's like, yeah, you can concentrate on every little wrinkle on your face, but that's not really the path. Those are going to keep coming.
Yeah. No,
there's no stopping.
100%. I mean, I speak with women all the time who, I'll just give you, for instance, I was doing a woman's makeup and she kept apologizing over and over again for, I'd say, look up, or, she would look the wrong way. Oh, I'm sorry. But I'm telling you, I can't count how many times she apologized to me in this 15-minute session. And I just want to give her a hug at the end and be like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to say you're sorry over and over and over again. And everybody comes to us with their own inner turmoil or damage from the past. And it was my goal to make her feel like by the time she left that you don't have to apologize for who you are. You don't have to apologize for whatever flaws you think you have on your face. I'm going to give you the confidence now to like just put a few things on that make you feel better. And we see things like this all the time. Women who say, oh my gosh, I haven't put makeup on in 30 years. And, I'm always a why? Well, I was raising my kids and then my husband was sick or whatever it is. And we have to remember and it doesn't just have to be makeup clearly, but to really take care of ourselves. We get so vested in our families, and which is great. But what about mama? Or even if you're not a mother or a wife, but, really embracing ourselves, which, we see all the time that that's not happening.
Yeah. Well, it's how you share your light with the world is through your face and your appearance. And so just putting some intention and energy behind it, right? Doesn't have to be a lot, I think.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know. So maybe let's talk about if you have 10, 15 minutes, what are some things we can do to make ourselves look great, walking out the door? And then let's go through the ages of what should someone in their, 20s or 30s be accentuating or concentrating on or whatnot. So what's a quick, you have 10 minutes to get out the door. What are you doing? What are you doing to your face?
Oh, yeah.
Moisturize. Lots of moisture.
It's all about the skin. All about the skin. We're lucky being here in Florida. It's so humid. And I know when I go to drier climates, I feel like I look more wrinkly.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But being here with all that natural hydration in the air, you want to lock that in with the moisturizer. 1,000% agree. Yeah.
Well, we're three Florida girls here, so the humidity has been good.
Yeah.
But I did go to Utah for a little while, and what you're saying, I was like, oh my God, I've aged because it's so dry.
Yeah.
But that humidity is very kind, I think.
Moisturizer is so important. I feel like getting your skin, I feel like the magic to any makeup, whether it's you're doing makeup for nighttime or even just day, and it is a 10, 15 minutes that you're getting ready, is making sure that your skin looks hydrated and glowy and not too much powder, maybe using products that are lightweight, tinted moisturizer, things that are just going to enhance the skin. But once you get your skin right, everything else is just cake. It's quick and easy, a little brow, a little mascara, and maybe a little gloss. You don't even have to go crazy with adding so many layers. So and I'll turn it over to Chris, but those are the three things, because my brows are so sheer and light and my lashes, they're not even, so they're invisible. And I feel if I'm gonna feel good, I've got to get a good moisturizer on my face, maybe a little tinted moisturizer if, depending on what I'm doing. And I put brows on, I put some mascara on, I always have some sort of gloss. And I used to wear red lipstick and all these bright colors. And now I just go with things that are really natural and neutral and just give a little glossy glow to the lips and just keep it really simple.
Yeah, I agree with you. The brow, I have dark brows, but they're a little sparse in spots. And if I do not shade those in, I'm I am not my face is not on, my grandma would say. I gotta put my face on.
I feel naked
I feel naked. If I could be just I just have to pencil in those brows a little bit. It's my thing.
That they frame the windows to the soul.
Yes. Yeah.
Eyebrows.
Yeah.
And it, you're saying, maybe not too much powder, but there's also the 20-something-year-old girls or even women who are having adult acne that need to address that. Maybe they would use a little powder, but if not, they could use rice paper to absorb some oil on their face. It's more sanitary, it's effective, and they're not packing a bunch of product on their face too. So that's an option for someone who's got oilier skin or troubled skin.
Yeah, keep it really light, right? Which I did suffer with. I did not have the greatest skin. I was not drinking enough water. Let's just caveat that. I should have been drinking way more water. That was not a thing when I was younger. But now I'm thankful. And I think that oily skin has helped me out as time has worn on. But keeping it really light. I think I just didn't wear makeup because my skin wasn't great, So
well, now you have a lot more options to educate yourself about skincare too. Back in the day, we're shopping at the drugstore, scrubbing our faces with some sort of apricot scrub that was ripping the hell out of our skin.
Yeah.
Making our pore size bigger.
Febreze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's so many more options that are well priced. And I would also say, like, seeing an esthetician here and there, getting a facial, having them kind of address whatever issues you might be going through is important too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was just one thing that I wanted to mention, like when we talk about some of the younger age range, because we've all obviously been there.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, like nowadays, it's like everybody's like on this concealer craze and talking about like, girls that have more acne or, little areas, then they're doing the concealer and maybe they're putting like a ton of it under the eye. And some people have like this old training. I don't know, maybe it's been over the past few years where they take concealer and go all the way down like the side of the nose and make this like giant triangle.
I've seen this.
It's so intense and there's so much product there. And then they pack it all over the face. And I'm like, you don't need that much. Like when you're using concealer, even as an older woman, like go where you need it, like go strategically, like in the inner corner, wherever the darkness is, rather than feeling like you have to paint the product on the face. Like just add it like in little touches where you need it so that it, you still have that beautiful like skin-like look rather than this really heavy, intense pigment and it looks more painted on. And I think there's just like some things still like floating out there that a lot of women and younger girls especially are still holding on to and maybe trying to transition out of that and just using things as you need them.
I feel like you guys need to do like a class for us, and tell us how to apply. Because I'm thinking right now, first of all, to shout out a product, Jones Road has that great concealer stick, which I got. Yes, and I love that.
Yeah.
And you told me to use a brush. So put it on the brush and then use the brush to do it. So I'm really kind of putting it like underneath my eyes a little bit and then like maybe around my nose for some redness. And then if there's like a spot, but that's really all we need, right? We don't have to be painting these stripes and triangles.
No.
Well, and it's also like, who are you fooling? We see what you got going on there, whether it's with makeup or procedures, it's like, we know what's up. Yeah. Why try to code it? Just, I don't know, roll with it, try to roll with it as much as you can. I mean, if something is like really, really intense, if you've got a major blemish and you want to like tone it down a little bit, but rolling with it is so important. I think you show more confidence if you're walking out without masking than masking the face.
Now, are you doing concealer first? At what stage are you putting the concealer on?
It depends.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, if you're using something that's very hydrating, like a tinted moisturizer, for example, you put that on and maybe you've put your eye cream on to start. I usually go on after. And the reason why I go on after is because if you're taking something that's emollient based and laying it on top of, concealer that's a little more pigmented, sometimes it can remove it or kind of shear it out or make it a little spotty. So I find if you do like these sheer layers to build the coverage where needed, then everything else still maintains that like satiny skin-like look. And then you can just, like you were saying, like how Chris taught you to do, like you put a little here, a little around the nose, a little spots, like you're able to kind of just strategically go to the areas that need that little extra. And then it just kind of melts in a little bit better to the skin. And then of course, like if you're using like your fingers, your body temperature helps to kind of like warm things up, or a brush, you can get into like some of the little nooks and crannies of the eyes or around the nose. But,
I think it's the right color. You shouldn't have to work too hard to blend it in. Yeah. It should just kind of, fade into the skin. And if you see little white dots in your pores or lighter dots in your pores than your skin tone, then you know it's too light of a product. So that's a good tip.
Okay, so tinted moisturizer, you can put the concealer on after that. And then say you want to add a little bit more coverage. So then foundation, you put foundation on after.
Or I would even still do a foundation first. And then see, like, where do I need more coverage? Do I even need a concealer at this point?
Yeah.
And then just touch here and there if you feel like you need the concealer. But I would probably do an under eye first prior to putting any sort of foundation on to even out that area. And then you can go back over it with that little, so there's no line of demarcation, and just kind of blend it in with the concealer.
And it's okay to blend with your fingers.
You can.
We don't need a sponge. because I feel like I am like a hands girl. Like I just want to like put it all on with my hands. And my hands, I've got makeup all over my hands, and I give everything a good wash. But like the sponges, I don't know, the brushes.
Personally, I prefer fingers and brush.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not a sponge girl. I don't know if you're a sponge girl, Jen.
No, I think they are dirty. I mean, even like
Pretty sponge users.
I know there's like so many. I'm not even gonna name, but like sponges, I feel like kind of pull the product off a little bit. Even when you like do the method of like wetting the sponge, and I'm sure there's probably people listening that are like, "Oh my god, I love my sponge. I can't live without it." But they do get, they
gross after. Antibacterial, but I don't know. Like your skin cells, the oils from your face, your moisturizer, your makeup is all sitting in there.
Yeah,
and they're dense, so it's difficult to like truly clean them thoroughly.
Yeah, And at least like because somebody might be well, you're using your fingers. Like we can control like cleaning our hands and making sure everything's fresh and ready to go before we start touching our face, which is like definitely like rule number one. Like make sure everything's clean, including your face, your hands, and then you can go in and start blending and using your body temperature to kind of melt things in. But I think fingers and brushes are really good.
Yeah. Now brushes, how often should we be cleaning our brush?
I mean, I spot clean my brush with brush cleaner like after every use.
Yeah.
And then do like once a week, I'll do like a big wash. And I'm sure people are like, I've never washed my brush.
Yes,
some people. Yeah.
I'm a baby wipe girl. Like I'll use them fragrance free. I wipe them off on the baby wipe after every use, and then once a week wash them.
Yeah.
Okay. I think many of us are probably slacking on the cleaning of the brush.
Oh my God. I had a lady come in one time that, it's been a few times, different people, but she came in and she was like, I got this brush and all the bristles seemed to be falling out. And I was like, let me see. And she pulled it out and it was like, it looked like it had gotten stuck in an electrical socket because it was like all right out. But it was because there was so much product in there. She hadn't cleaned it. And I was like, well, let's start with the cleaning. So I was like, hand it over. And I was like there for a couple of minutes, using the tissue and the brush cleaner to get everything out. But she was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I forgot how nice that brush actually was. All the product
flat in the middle, sprayed out.
Wouldn't y'all just put it in a little cleaner and just rinse it off? Yeah. Like some warm water, right? That is something I won't say I do it every week, but I really do try. I really only wear makeup once a week typically. If I have like something going on, I really try and like keep not a lot on my skin. But yeah, cleaning the brushes. Everyone needs to get better at that.
Yeah. Because it make your face break out.
Yeah.
Clog your pores. You're just distributing like old stuff across your face every day.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Tales from the makeup artists. Okay.
There's many.
I'm sure you guys see it. Okay. So we're kind of addressing, in different age ranges, but what do you want to say for like women in their 40s? We're keeping it very light, right? If you are in your 20s, 30s, probably you're more hormonal at that point. So you're keeping it lighter if you have breakouts and all that. Into your 40s as the skin starts to change a little bit. What are we doing, ladies? What are we doing?
I mean, I feel like, I don't know how you're feeling, but 40s was my prime. I could have cared less if I had makeup on or not. But when I did, it was, okay, the face is aging. At that time, I'm seeing a lack of elasticity in my skin. I'm noticing that my eyelids aren't as taut as they were. And so that wing liner that I was like known for, can't be rocking that as much as I used to. Even my eyelashes aren't staying up like they used to because the pressure from my lids is like pushing them down a little bit. So there's different things that you have to address and recognize about yourself as an individual. Like, what can I do to not necessarily look like I'm still in my 30s, but embrace this face now? And I would say one, and of course today I'm wearing like mascara under my eyes, but one thing that I think is good is do everything on top of the eye to lift it and not put so much product underneath it. Is a one good tip I would say for any woman that's more mature.
So no liner or no mascara on the bottom.
It's right. Okay. It's just a little tip that'll like lift the eye, make the eye look a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
And not that you would do that all the time. Maybe when you got at night, you would smoke them out a little bit. But, it's just a nice look to lift the eye. And I also feel that blush or some sort of bronzing product is important because it makes the skin look more youthful. It makes your cheeks look flushed and healthy, like you just ran a mile or took a hot shower, had like a little roll around in the hay or something. That flushed cheek, I think, is really youthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're doing the bronzer and then you're adding like a maybe a blush on top of that.
Yeah, you could do a bronzer. And if you've got fair skin and bronzers don't necessarily work for you, fine. Or if you're a darker woman, then maybe just stick with like a brighter pop of blush on the cheek. But yeah, by itself or incorporated with something to warm up your skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that flush look. I like that.
I would definitely agree with, all of the elements that Chris is talking about. And I also want to go back to something you said earlier, because this is going to be, I thought you were going to bring it up, but picking the feature, like a focus feature to, enhance. And sometimes where I would see like makeup on, the 40s era of women go wrong is when they would put a bunch of eye makeup on and a lot of lip color or bright lip color. And it was just competing and it was like really heavy looking, even when it was just like a going out look. And I think it's good to kind of pick that feature and say, okay, I'm going to focus on my lips today. And even it doesn't have to be like when you're thinking of like a focus feature, doesn't mean that it has to be like a bright red lip or intense. It could be like a really pretty soft lip with a gloss. And then maybe you just put a lot of mascara and like a nude eyeshadow. Or, if you're going out and you want to put like a little pencil liner on, you could do that. Now, I do still do liner on the bottom, but when I do it, I didn't do it today, but I usually do like a really thin line about 3/4 of the way in. And it just, I think it also depends on the eye shape too. But for me, it kind of like lifts the eye. And even if I'm like winging it out, when I worked for Charlotte Tilbury, I learned her feline flick technique. And it would follow the underneath of the eye. So, if you do want to do a winged eyeliner, so let's switch it and say maybe the eye is the focus, that you're following the underneath of the eye. And if it were to extend out, that would be the angle of the wing. And then you just kind of cut across on the top of the lid. So it's a little thicker on the outer, and then it just gets nice and thin and tapered as you pull it towards the inner. Which I did sort of a little bit today.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at this right here and I'm following that line and it looks perfect.
But it's such a great way. And so going back to what Chris was saying about lifting the eye, I find that lifts the eye too. And it's just like a little illusion that you're creating, because sometimes as you get older, and I feel like I'm really seeing this now, that like my crease and my lid and my brow, like they're all starting to go down. I want to lift it up. So kind of cheating the system a little bit with just creating like a little extension and kind of elongating the eye, so it makes them look a little bigger. So that's a little tip that I think is really great. And I think it's great for any age, to be honest. Even I still do it now, and I'm 51. So I did it in my 40s and I'm doing it now. But I think that focus feature, like what Chris said earlier, is such a great tip and something, that you can really utilize and kind of build your makeup around it. And then I was even going to say too, like as someone that's a little more on the fair side, when you were talking about bronzer, you could even go for like just a darker powder, like a setting powder, because sometimes the bronzers would look like super orange when I would put them on. So I was like, oh, maybe if I just get a darker powder, that might work, because it's in a skin tone shade. And it would usually work if a bronzer was like too orangey or too red.
That's a good tip. Just a darker powder.
And great idea. I like what you said about an illusion. Yeah. Let's just remember that makeup is creating an illusion. 100%. I mean, it can, like you were saying before, like people look like they're a totally different person after they have the full face of makeup on. We can create little tiny illusions to enhance a feature. And then we can also just enhance the natural beauty.
Yeah.
There's two ways you
Yeah.
can go with it.
Totally.
But
So I want to circle back on this eye trick because
she's like, wait, where are your notes? You're not even writing anything down right now.
like I should have had you guys bring makeup and put it on me today.
I was thinking about that actually.
I know.
Part two.
We'll do another one. And we'll do that.
Okay.
But so you actually start on the bottom. You said 3/4 of the way in. You start on the bottom.
Yep.
And then kind of bring it up.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. So
on the top.
like just a little line if you need it, or if you just want it on the top, kind of going back to what Chris was saying, use the under eye. So a lot of times when we do a winged eyeliner, we sweep it across the top of the lid and kind of pull it out this way.
Yes.
And sometimes it'll look weird. Like it'll kind of
looks weird when I do it.
it'll give like a little hook. So, I mean, I think every makeup brand has like this thing about them that's like they're super amazing for. And I felt like the Charlotte Tilbury really nailed the whole like winged eyeliner thing because of the method of which she taught it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of it like that. But yeah, if you were to use like an imaginary line, even if you're just going to keep it on the top and extend it with the cascade of your natural eye, if you follow that up, that's the angle you want to create. And then you cut across this way. So it's like a little wedge on the outer part of your eye. And it can be as thin or as thick as you want. But I find like just a little bit there just kind of makes the eye look a little longer, a little bigger.
A little lifted.
Yeah, a little lifted. Even with a heavier lid or brow, you can still trick it and make it look like, oh my God, look, she's got a winged eye. Look at that. It looks
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks very natural. I'm only noticing it because you're talking about it, but it does look very natural.
You can even draw the outline of the wedge or the triangle and then go back and fill it in.
Yeah.
That's easier.
Yeah.
And you're using a pencil?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a pencil.
And you know, I think a pencil is great and also a great way to train yourself how to do the liner because you can just grab a Q-tip and clean it up. When you go with
are a very good friend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. They're like, I have like the little thin, tiny ones always like by my makeup vanity or whatever. But if you go straight in for like the liquid pen or like, you know, the pen liner, sometimes we put it on and it's like, oh my God, what's that funny video I've seen for years now where the girl starts with the eyeliner and she goes to the other side and she screws it up and tries to make it bigger. And then she makes her eyes like this and then ends up with like sunglasses on at the end. But it's like that. It's like if you have those little tools and kind of guide yourself into it, if you make a mess, you can just go back in and use that Q-tip to wipe it off.
Okay, Q-tips are a friend.
Yeah.
Now the eyeliner, again with the concealer, like in the process of, are you putting that on at the very last thing?
I like to do eyes first. If I'm doing, especially if I'm doing like not just my own, but if I'm doing a special event, I do the eye makeup first because I don't want to have to go back and clean up the concealer, wipe whatever fault there is, clean it off, and then redo the concealer again. So personally, I don't know how you do, but I do eyes first and then I do the skin afterwards.
I think I remember you doing the eyes first, and I was like, "This is unique," because I feel like that's not
less work for
typically.
you.
I do the exact opposite.
You did the opposite. See, which I love this.
And young.
Maybe you're better with knocking the product off the brush before you apply, but I like let all the stuff fall down and then I'll come back later and clean it up, It's so rewarding. I love the cleanup afterwards.
Clean up.
Oh, look at that.
You know, it's so funny over the years. Like, it's like, do I or do I not? And I don't even think there's like a right or wrong. I think it's just like, what do you feel comfortable with? And I think when I first started learning how to do makeup, like professionally back in the mid 90s, it was do the skin first, get everything right, and make sure that the skin is perfected and then go in and do the eyes and all that stuff. But I've also done the opposite way. And I have to agree with Chris. Like if I was doing like a super smoky eye and using darker shades and, you're going to get a little fallout. It's no matter how careful you are, it's going to make a mess. So having that, bulletproof, like I'm going to do the eyes first and then I can wipe it all away. It makes the cleanup easier. And then you don't have any of that gray mess going on under the eye if you had like gray shadow or black or whatever.
Right. Mixed with your
Yeah. Are we still doing a smoky eye as we age?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Smoky eye. Okay. What are the tips for that? Because I feel like that is selfishly, I'm learning all this through you guys.
Yeah.
Because It's good to have a refresher. And I think people, we need to feel excited and like we're having fun with putting makeup on, right? And my husband's having a birthday party tonight, and I'm going to take some of these tips and I'm going to try it out and have fun with it, you know?
Yeah. I like smoke. I think it makes the eye look really sexy, especially if you're using, you could use a sheen or a matte, but a matte smoke is going to kind of mask any sort of wrinkles that are on the lid. It's alluring. And I think it kind of reminds us, like, I still got what it takes. Sexy eyes.
Yeah.
And then you could go softer on the rest of the face, especially with a smoky eye. I would do it like a soft, glossy mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Very, very sexy.
Oh my goodness. But yes, definitely do the smoky eye and don't overthink it. I think women struggle with like, how do I do a smoky eye? I think you start with maybe a color that's one shade lighter than the color you want to end up with. Okay. So if you're doing, let's say, a chocolate, and it doesn't have to be blacks or grays, it could be a chocolate smoky eye. Start off with maybe like a sable or a fawn color on your lid, and then layer the darker shade on top, because then the darker shade will blend on more smoothly than if you put it directly on top of a, I guess, moist lid. Not necessarily moist, but skin texture. It's better to have that little powder base first.
Do you ever put a concealer on your eyelid to help it stay? Or is that something I learned that's false?
I mean, it depends. Concealers can crease. Most likely will crease a little bit. And if they do, you can always use your finger to just like press out any excess product. It's nice to even out the skin tone on the lid before putting on color. But there are lid primers that you could use first. That don't crease. They're specifically designed to act as a primer on the lid. So
light color all over the lid.
Yeah.
And then with the darker color, what exactly are you doing with that darker color?
So it depends on the shape of the eye. Personally, I like to start on the outside corner so that the outside is darkest. And then I slowly blend in towards the inside corner. And I don't go past the crease for myself. I might go past the crease a little bit with the lighter of the two shades to create a little depth in the crease. But if I'm going too high with a dark color, then you're seeing it in the fold. And it just it's not blended. You really just want to keep the attention on the lower part of the eyelid. And also with that, if your eyelids aren't as open as they used to be, and I say this to my customers all the time when they're like, they look straight into the mirror and their eyes are open, and whatever they've tried on or I've done on their eyes, they don't see it. And I'm like, just remember that maybe your eye makeup isn't so much for you to see anymore if your lids are saggy or you don't have as much space anymore, but other people see it. When you're talking, when you're expressing yourself, when you're looking down to eat your food, when you're, batting your eyes at your partner, they see the makeup. And sometimes maybe it's more for them than it is for you.
Yeah.
So,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I love that. The lids change. It all changes.
I can remember when I could see, I'd put on 4 different colors on my eyes, a lid color, a crease color, a corner color, the eyeliner, and I could see it all.
Yeah.
Like, look at that work. Yeah. But now there's no point to it because I don't see it. The only thing I can see really is the brow area.
Yeah.
Maybe a thin liner and my eyelashes if I'm looking straight to the mirror. So you just have to remember that.
Yeah. So you're doing the 2 colors and then you're doing, let's say we're doing Jen's eyeliner technique and then
lots of mascara.
And
you could also, like Jen was saying with the liner where you're doing it underneath the eye. This is when, if you want a smoky eye, you bring that little bit of a smoke under the eye as well. You don't have to do a hard line, but you could bring that, even the lighter shadow of the 2 across the whole under eye, and then take the darker one just on the outside corner and kind of blend those 2 colors together.
I definitely think, like we were talking about the eyeliner, you could also, like, let's say if you're like daytime makeup and you take an eyeliner, like maybe a gray or a black or a brown or whatever, there's a quick way also to like add that smoke really quick where you put the eyeliner on. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can smudge it out and then layer just a little deeper shadow on top. And it could just be brown. And it creates like this halo of that smoky look like around the eye. I mean, I feel like that's like if you wanted to just add like a little, you know, sexy, sultry to the makeup, that's like a quick way. I always say like when in doubt, smoke it out.
Yeah.
Like do a quick little 5-minute smoky eye, like add the pencil and then smudge it out. You can use your fingers to like blend out the pencil and then take a little shadow and just kind of press it on. But I think that smoky eyes are like
and
everything.
Even when I do,
I love that.
because my, you know, I love the 80s look with the waterline with the liner on the inside of the eye. I even think that this looks a little smoky.
It
just
does,
because I put the liner on the wrapped around the inside of my eye, makes the lash line look thicker and gives me a smoky look without adding shadow.
Yeah. When are you putting it on that inside line and when are you putting it just underneath? Is that just preference or?
So this might be one thing where I'm going to contradict myself, where I've like kind of stuck with this 80s look. I'll just never forget this girl, Tamara, lighting her eyeliner in the middle school bathroom to get it like soft and like really, you know, pigmented, soft pigment, and wrapping that around her eye. And I just thought, she was older than me. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is just it. Like
She's cool.
She's cool. And her eyes, she had blue eyes and she wore a navy liner. And I just thought, that's it. So I guess that's kind of something that stuck with me, but I wear it a lot.
Yeah.
I wear inside my waterline often.
Yeah.
Because I like that it makes my lash line look thicker and it makes my eyes look whiter, because that's something else that unfortunately happens as we get older, is that the whites of our eye are not as white. So
Wow. Yeah. Don't tell us that. I mean,
it's true though. I mean, there's a lot of drops out there that make the eyes look really white. And I know people that use them often, but I'm afraid to use them all the time.
interesting. That seems like it's maybe not that great. I mean, if it's like bleaching the white speaker.
I'm not sure.
What is it doing? We don't know.
The blood vessels like
I think it does something like that. But no,
interesting.
like, maybe not want to use that all the time. But I have to say, like, that is the one thing, like I was talking about, when I see her, like when I go to work, she always has the liner in the rim of her eye, and I think it looks so good.
Yeah.
Every time, like, I even do it on myself. I know, like, for my eye shape, it's probably going to make it look a little smaller, but I'm trading the fact that it looks like sexy. It's like sexy eye, like instant sexy eye, like putting the waterline liner in there.
Yeah.
I think it looks so beautiful always. And
I do it sometimes when I'm not wearing mascara.
Yeah.
And then I rub my eye after I put it on, and it kind of gives me the look like
I rolled around in bed all night.
or like, I love that. Or like I went to the beach with a little bit of makeup from the night before on, and it's just kind of there, you know.
It's that undone, like, I think I agree with you. Like, that's my preference of, like, I love that, like, kind of undone, not trying so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's had that, like, maybe they've worn the makeup from the night before and they're like, oh,
yeah,
like that looks pretty good. Like, they check themselves in the mirror and they're like, this looks nice, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Although I definitely want your face at night.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had clients that are like, my eyes look so good, I didn't wash them for 3 days, or, you know, I'm like, what? No, it's disgusting.
You have conjunctivitis.
Yeah,
I would say.
Don't do that. But it's interesting because this just brought up a thought when I used to go out, when I was social, not as social as I used to be, but I would say to myself, like, okay, what vibe do I want tonight? You know, am I going for, and I would even put on the music to like suit the vibe. Am I going to put on some like 80s alternative, or am I going to put on some Joan Jett, or am I going to put on some Italian? Like, am I going for Sophia tonight? Like, what's the look for tonight? What's my mood? So you can also create a makeup in a mood, you know, even like you might do for like your silhouette of what you're going to wear for the day. You know,
keep that inspiration.
Yeah, like inspire, like find inspiration for yourself to be playful. It's makeup; it washes off. It's not that
God, and it should be fun.
Yeah,
makeup is fun. It's like our means of self-expression, maybe, in a way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's also why people get so crafty and creative with it. But you know, it comes down to like, you know, why we put makeup on. I really think it's really about us feeling beautiful. And, you know, loving ourselves and loving our face and loving our energy and loving the vibe that we're creating. Like, I feel like it just all comes back to that. You know, people are like, how do you know what to do and what colors to use? And I do say it's like, what's your mood? Like, where are you going? Like, what kind of vibe do you want to create? It's kind of like a feeling, you know, oh, I'm soft and natural and looks like I've just done yoga all day, or I'm going out and I want to look like, you know, the rocker chick. Like, you know, there's always different things, like, you know, from one look to the other, but it's like these elements that we incorporate, you know, like Chris said, like using the music to inspire. Such a great idea.
I love a red lip. I feel like a red lip, I talked about this recently because I feel like it was something I thought I couldn't wear. And then I tried to wear it. I started wearing it. And one time in particular, this woman came up and she was kind of shy. I could tell. I knew her, like an acquaintance, but she came up to me and she said, "Oh my gosh, this red lip looks so good on you. And I want to try it. And you've inspired me to try it." And I was like, yeah, like go do it. So she like takes a picture of herself when she's out. She texts it to me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I had so much confidence wearing this red lip." Do you guys love a red lip? Do you love it for all ages? Or I agree with you, like pick the one feature. So if you're doing like heavy eye, don't do as much lip. But tell me how should we be rocking the red lip?
I think a red lip is beautiful. I used to wear it all the time. I think I might have mentioned that before, but picking the right red, I think, is key because there's blue reds, there's orange reds, there's, you know, wine reds. Yeah, there's so many different variations. So that might be a moment where you have to go in and ask somebody, I want to wear a red lipstick. Can you help me pick out the right red for my skin tone? And, you know, making sure, I think, in the execution of it all, sometimes the best way to do it is to grab the lipstick. Like I'll go back to our early days of, you know, MAC and Russian red lipstick was like my favorite red. Still such a great winner even today. But, you know, using that lipstick, kind of shaping out the lip with the lipstick. And then I'm finding now, like going back into the edge after you get the lipstick on to really kind of shape out that red lip, because when you go for a bold lip, you want to make sure that it's even and balanced because it's the feature for sure. So having that red lip, like, ta-da, you know, it's like, here I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is a lip pencil.
Lip pencil for sure. I mean,
Lip pencil first or after?
After. I do it after. Now,
okay, interesting.
I used to do the liner first. And then I've found that if you want to do it quickly, put the lipstick on and then go back in and kind of reshape your lip with a pencil. I always used cherry pencil from MAC. I don't even know. It's probably still around, maybe. I don't know. But such a great shade, and it worked well with a Russian red. So putting the lipstick on to kind of follow the natural lip shape and then going back in, and I would start at the Cupid's bow and kind of create that shape here, like the little mountain peaks, and then kind of bring the shape in from the corner here to here and then shape it from the bottom. And I always made sure that like the corners connected. You didn't want like that little gap of space in there because it looks weird when you're talking.
Yes. Okay.
Like, hey, is there a lip floating? Or
there's such an art to this.
Yeah. But when you, and you know, another trick too is when you're doing these like, you know, bolder lips, even if it's a darker wine red, I would always like, if I'm lining my lips, because one side of my lip is not the same as the other, so I would tilt my head up so I could see the bottom of my lip, and I would see like the line would be up more on one side and lower on the other.
Yeah.
So then I could see it. So like we have a neck, we have a head, we can roll it around. So look at all the different angles. You don't have to be frozen in one place. Like, you know, like move it around, see if it looks balanced and even, and then you can go in and clean it up. And then if you make a mistake, wipe it away with a Q-tip. And then once it's perfect, you can add a little concealer around the edge, you know.
To kind of keep it there.
To just kind of keep it there, clean up the edges and, you know, make it look a little more perfect. But, you know, I think that, you know, you can do one way or the other, whatever works best for you. Yeah. But I found that that's a little faster for me these days when I'm like, I don't feel like spending 15 minutes doing a red lip.
I used to wear a red a lot.
Okay.
But now that I have these lovely little fine lines around my upper lip, you know, I noticed everything started bleeding, you know, and I don't like that look.
Yeah. The bleeding red lip is
not the look I want. It's like, let's just like fill in the lines and enhance them, right? So a really good tip is to get a clear lip pencil They're on the market, and you can draw the outside of your lip line and fill in those little lines around the mouth, and then draw your red lip pencil on.
Oh my God. A clear lip pencil. Never heard of that.
Yes.
Never heard of that.
It
Great
works
tip.
Wonderfully. And you could, you could really do, like, I sometimes even use it if I'm just wearing a gloss, because even the gloss will bleed into my little lines. So it just helps to keep the product to stay in place.
Yeah.
And I love personally, I like a good matte red. Because the gloss, I don't know, I feel like I just ate chicken with my red lipstick on. The oil, so, like oily look. Yeah, so I personally, and it just is classic to me. It's like so like 50s movie star.
Yeah, it's like velvety.
Yeah, really velvety.
So pretty. Yes. I'm always like, how much eating and drinking am I going to be doing? Because it's a maintenance process.
It stays throughout the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just a personal preference.
Yeah.
Or even feathering your whole lip with a pencil. And then putting the lipstick on top so it has more staying power, so you don't have to maintain it as much.
Yes.
Yeah, but Jen said, like, the right red, it has to be the right red.
Has to be the right red.
Yeah. It's either like a true red, more, warmer, cooler, whatever works best with your skin tone.
Yeah, have a makeup artist help you pick out a red. If you're gonna experiment with this red lip, get one that really is wow.
So what's your red? You said you love a red lip.
Actually, so I feel like I've got to come to you guys and make sure it's okay. But I have a Sicily red, and I don't know the name of it, but it's like it's like a longer lipstick kind of thing. I have a pencil, which is a different brand, and then I have the Sicily, and then I have a Sicily. It is a glossy. I'm eating the chicken with the red lip. It looks a little oily. It looks wet, which is. Sorry. Now I'm going to have that in your mind. I'm so sorry. But I'm not going to share the wet lip.
Because you're talking about the oil from the chicken last night. My boyfriend hates gloss. He hates it. He's like, I can't, don't kiss me with that stuff on. And I said, he made hamburgers last night and it was very juicy. And I said, who needs gloss when you've got hamburger grease?
It's so true.
See, right? There you go. That solidifies my whole thought.
Oh my gosh. You guys are so much fun. I also feel like we could talk for hours about all this stuff. We're going to do it again. You guys are going to bring makeup. We're going to have like a makeup party in here in LA. That's fun, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know, this is the end of the episode. I just want to know what you guys, if there's something that you want to leave the audience with, I'll give you both a minute to, if it's a tip, a trick, a piece of advice, anything.
Yeah. I think, it's something that I say all the time, and I think I've said it throughout, like really just finding a way to feel beautiful in your own skin. And it's not just about what you're externally putting on, but how you speak to yourself internally and what kind of positive affirmations you're giving yourself inwardly. And I feel like when you tell yourself, I love you, body, thank you, I love you, skin, I love all the pieces of me, it starts to kind of shift your perspective and really helps you kind of embody your own natural beauty, just loving who you are.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. And not comparing yourself.
Yes.
I think that's a trap that we get into, comparing ourselves to other women, to younger women, to our past self. Even that, I used to say, I just want to be a better version of myself. I wish I could still, remember what my body looked like 10 years ago or what my skin looked like 10 years ago. Well, that's the past, and you cannot reside in that place. You have to really be in the moment and embrace where you're at now and enhance all the goods you've got, inside, outside.
So true. You can look back and say, oh, I looked great then, but don't be stuck in that you don't look that way now. I think that's such a bad place to be,
Yeah.
So you guys were so much fun. Shout out where people can find you if they want to connect with you, either social media, email, website, anything you guys want to put out there.
Yeah. We are currently working with Jones Road Beauty, which is owned by Bobby Brown. We're on Palm Beach. And I have an Instagram account called Well Crenshaw Said, because a girlfriend of mine would try to give her daughters beauty advice and they would boo-hoo her, poo-poo her, whatever. And she'd say, well, Crenshaw said that if you try this line or if you do this product. And so that's what it's called.
I love that. I also teach yoga and do sound bath healing and makeup and all the things. But my Instagram is crystal_mystic_healing. So it's kind of a little bit of everything there. That's the one that I use the most. And I will, if somebody wants to reach out to me there, I'm happy to like talk about makeup and all the things, or come see us in person.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the store is great. I'm lucky to have had both of you on my makeup journey. You at the start and you more recently. So I thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
It's really fun. And you're going to come back. I hope.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Cinnamon Effect, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning into this episode of The Cinnamon Effect. If you enjoyed our time together, don't forget to hit that follow button on your podcast app and sprinkle a little love by leaving us a 5-star rating and a quick review. Your support means the world to me. For even more goodness, check out the show notes where you'll find links to some of my favorite products. And don't forget to visit thecinnamoneffect.com to connect with me directly or to grab your TCE gratitude journal, your next step towards a more grateful life. I can't wait to spice things up with you again next time. Stay vibrant, stay inspired, and remember to add a little cinnamon to your life every day.